Hi, this is Terry Bach, and welcome to It's My Time Now mini summit. In this summit, we're exploring how to have hope during the pandemic. I know that many of us are just weary from all the constraints that we've had to live within in the past couple of years. And we want to follow the rules, we want to be safe, but at the same time, we don't want to have to give up our dreams. We want to keep those dreams alive. So, whatever your situation is, just know that many women are feeling this way and losing hope that they're never gonna have that life that they really want. So, I have brought together some experts in this field so that we can all discuss um, this topic basically from everybody's experience and point of view on the topic of how to keep hope alive during these times.
Mm.
So today I have invited Damini Celebre as our expert. For over 25 years, Damini has helped thousands of women worldwide live deeply happy lives every day of their lives, empowered in their choices and expressing their most authentic selves on a daily basis. Her unique background is a potent mix, potent is right, of healing arts, acupuncture, energy medicine, shamanism, and the intuitive creative arts. Welcome, Damini, and I'm so happy to have you here with us.
I am really delighted to be here, Terry. I think it's a really important space to hold, one that we're a little off and one that there is hope. So I
Yes,
appreciate you doing this.
thank you. I just
Hmm.
feel like, especially as women, we need more connection with other women, and we need to know that other people are getting through this, and you can too.
Hmm.
So I noticed that on your website you talk a lot about the soulscape journey, and I'm not sure what that means. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Hmm. The way I use, the way I use or think about soul is this truest, purest expression of who we are. So some people call
Mm,
that your most authentic self,
okay.
um, the best version of yourself. But I like thinking about it like when you're dreaming about your life and
Hmm.
how you envision y- your life in the best possible way. That's the expression of your soul. That's
Okay.
that's soul. And then so exploring your soulscape is this really beautiful journey of coming back in to your inner guidance
Okay.
and to connecting to yourself.
That's not always easy to do, is it?
No,
Yeah,
no, it's not.
I know, because we're all over the place doing instead of really reaching in and trusting our
Right,
intuition.
right. And
Yeah.
I think trusting is a really important word because,
Hmm.
you know, we, well, I think that when we get caught in this level of fear, and there
Yes,
has been some over the past couple of years, we
absolutely.
get up here
Hmm.
and we can't kind of settle back into our inner guidance and
Exactly.
or come into ourselves. And so we throw ourselves into this doing mode
Hmm.
instead of allowing,
Exactly.
and so
So we do talk about the difference between doing and allowing.
hmm hmm here's how I think about it.
Okay.
When we're in a doing mode, you're in your mind, which is a beautiful, beautiful place. I think we can't separate mind from heart. I really think
Hmm.
it's important that we align both to be whole,
Sure.
right?
Hmm.
But doing is thinking, planning, which is really helpful. And then when it gets a little pathogenic, if you will, is when all of a sudden you're like, I gotta, shoulda, woulda, coulda, goulda, and it feels
Yes.
like life is a giant boulder and we are just pushing it up a hill. We get tired, burnt out,
Hmm.
frustrated,
And we
and
try to push through it instead of
yes,
pulling back and going into yourself. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think culturally, we're not trained to pull back and
No,
come into ourselves, but
no.
that's where our juice is. That's
Mhm.
where our vitality is.
Okay.
So, allowing, on the other
Mhm.
hand of that,
Right.
is this beautiful space of coming into your heart and or coming or listening into your heart or to your intuition, I guess, if you will.
Okay.
And allowing has um, this opening kind of
Mhm.
expression to it. It has a present moment. Like when you're in that heart's allowing space, you're right here. You're right here
Yeah.
in your beautiful body. You're not in the past or you're not in the future. You're just here. And that is incredibly restorative too.
Yes. And that's the importance of really being in your body is
Absolutely.
you're not living in the past, you're not worrying about the future, you're really just in the present.
Right. Right. And we know, there's like a gazillion different ways for thousands and thousands of years to
Yes,
remind us that that's where the magic is, if you will.
exactly.
You know.
Oh, in your bio, I read that you do creative arts and well, you do a lot of things, but creative arts and the healing arts. How do you kind of intersect those?
Mm,
Those-
mm. I think I'm a little story type teller.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
I've done a lot of healing work for a long time. And when I started inviting women to do some intuitive painting, that was the journey. I
Okay.
was kind of watching the journey of coming in that they were doing, of touching some really beautiful, delicate places, and then,
Hmm.
having kind of that aha. And then once they went like this, they went like this. It
Oh,
really
sure.
is a healing journey. And it dawned on
Hmm.
me that the creativity, when it's led by the body, um, which is versus creativity where you're learning to make something look like something.
Right.
I think they're
You're
very
just
different
kind of
entities.
going with that flow that you were
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your
Yeah.
inner 4-year-old going, yes, this is what I feel.
Yes. And then the doing this is more constricting or telling you, judging yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I noticed the women were going through the same rhythm as they were as my acupuncture practices people, and it was like, oh, so that was one little thought I had. I was like, oh, this is profoundly healing. And then I'm a little slow learner sometimes.
Aren't we all?
Right. But what I realized was when we use the creative process as a way inward, it bypasses this. It
Hmm.
bypasses judgment. It bypasses the I'm not good enough. And there's an inherent truth in the body that wants us to be our brightest, best self, as I like to call it, or your
Oh,
authentic self.
okay. Sure.
And when we come in and let the body lead, it guides us to that highest expression of ourselves, right?
Okay.
In
Interesting.
other words, we get out of our head, we're back into our heart.
Right. Right. I had a question there, but I lost it. Um, so, so how does somebody feel when they're actually in that, you called it your brightest self, best self, brightest
Brightest, best
best
self.
self? Yeah. How does somebody feel when they're in there?
I believe that we've all had this feeling,
I'm sure.
and even over the past couple years, where there's that moment of, yeah, this. It's like a resonance of truth that
Okay.
moves through your whole body. You
Okay.
know, does that make sense?
It does. I'm trying to think of my own life in
Mhm.
those moments where it's like I just feel I just feel like I'm home or I'm calm or I'm at peace or
Yeah,
instead of running around doing things, it just feels so good. I want to stay here. I want to
right,
stay right here.
right.
Yeah.
And there's like this. I sometimes think about gongs where if you ever felt or experienced a gong
Mm-hmm.
and it just vibrates through your whole body. I like calling it your
Oh,
heart's yes, but
ah.
it's when your whole body goes, yes,
Oh, I love that. I love
and
that.
there's energetically, it
Mhm.
brings you in closer to your body, it grounds you, it centers you, and it connects you to your heart. And it's an incredible moment because in that moment you are in line with all your potential.
Wow.
Now, of course, we're human. We have a
Right.
mind and we go,
Exactly. And it gets in our way sometimes. Yes.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I really believe in the concept of neuroplasticity, which is
Mhm.
about retraining the mind.
Exactly.
But from a acupuncture standpoint, the mind holds in every cell of your body. So in a way, you're retraining a muscle memory or a body, mind, spirit muscle memory
Exactly.
to recognize yes, and then we get lost, and then we come back to yes. So
I think we get lost because we're not, as you were saying earlier, we're not really trained to be there
right.
unless you've taken a lot of classes or worked with, people who do, similar things to you. Um,
And we still get lost.
Oh, of course. Well, because our training come or our brain's training comes in, and we have
Right.
those old neural pathways
Yeah.
that kind of pull us back into it. Yeah.
I tell my peeps, it's not about being perfect.
No,
It's not about living a perfect life. It's more about recognizing when you're getting waylaid and
exactly.
then just going, "Oh, I'm being waylaid."
Instead
And
of
then I'm
telling
coming
yourself
back.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so the creativity, going back to that original
Right.
question, and it's okay. I'm a real tangent
That's
type of
fine. I'm
gal.
following.
The creativity is connects you back into your intuition,
Got
right?
it.
Because I believe that our intuition or our body first language is color, shape, and form. So any
That
of
makes
these
sense.
experiences that are subconscious, unconscious, I don't know
Hmm.
really where in the realm that is, but
Hmm.
it's in that place where we know where our body holds truth, you
Right.
know. And
Yes.
so if you use like some of the tools of the heart that I share are like learning intuition,
Hmm.
learning how to get back into your body so you can follow um, these feelings and sensations that guide us,
Okay.
and so that in itself right there is remarkable. And then if you use the creative process of saying, oh, I feel this, what does that feel like if I move it, or what would
Okay.
it look like if I draw it, and I really mean
Interesting.
abstract drawing.
Yeah, right.
Do you mind if I go on a little bit longer about this?
No, not
Okay.
at all. No, because it's
Because
interesting. Yeah,
yeah, and I think there's so many layers to this process, and it's going to resonate with anybody who's listening to this in a different way.
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
So when I'm also holding space for like acupuncture theory and energy medicine, and there's this beautiful line in the acupuncture text, and it says the heart must allow emotions to flow.
Mhm.
Paraphrasing, obviously.
Right.
And that whole concept is for us to be healthy, we need to allow all our emotions to flow, right? And if
Hmm.
anything gets stuck, right, it creates illness. And that is primarily talking about emotions.
Yeah.
So, that it's
Mhm.
really hard if somebody says, get in touch with your shame. You're like,
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do. Yeah.
right. But what if you
Mhm.
really allow yourself the opportunity just to have some kind of prompt, like what's in your way at this moment, for example? And that kind
Mhm.
of just filters into the body. And then you go, okay, body, how do you want this to get expressed? Because you don't know that it's shame. You don't know what it is, but you just let your body start leading you. Here, yeah, here I am with a pen, right? Just saying, in my belly, I feel this discomfort, and I just allow myself to doodle that
Mhm,
expression. So what it's doing is a couple things. It's allowing energy to move,
mhm.
right? So there, right there.
And you're
That's
and you're acknowledging it, so you're not
absolutely
making it get stuck again. Yeah,
right. You're not stuffing it, you're not pushing it
exactly.
away,
Right.
and so if I shift a little bit of paradigm here into shamanic healing, one of the most important modalities in that is about bringing parts of yourself back.
Okay.
And I think as women, we we tend to put the parts of ourselves we don't like away. I mean, I think other people do that as well, but since we're talking about women right here,
Right. And I think women probably do it more.
yeah, right.
Yeah. I think we're
Because,
more scattered, or that's not the right word, but we have more parts that
yeah,
we
and
have
we're also
probably have more
trying,
shame a little bit too that create us wanting to put that away.
right, and we're also trying to be somebody that we're not. I was going to say more male, but more of that masculine energies up out there. So,
Mhm.
we not only have to like deal with the family, regardless of how fluid the family is, we're still, there are
Right.
roles that we play.
Exactly.
And
Mhm.
then we have to put on that suit, whether it's a pink vest or a business suit, it doesn't matter.
Right.
We,
Right.
we feel like we have to step out into the world in bravado. I got it together. I could do all these things, right? And then we
Mhm.
leave all those other parts of us off to the side, the parts that don't fit. And I do believe that part of being your brightest best self is not pushing away the inner critic or pushing away, oh, you're fat or you're too skinny or whatever that is,
Yeah.
or you're
Right.
old or whatever that is, pandemic
Mhm.
aging and all that.
And
But
weight gain.
just
Yeah.
the beauty of it being seen from the from here
Right.
up, right?
Exactly.
But like the process, you're not pushing things away, you're inviting all the parts of yourself to come back, and that's really powerful.
It
You
is.
I mean, I always think about how much energy do we all use pushing things, holding things back.
Yes. We're
That's
putting
that,
it down. Yeah.
yeah, that's that
Mhm.
doing versus allowing thing. And
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like, I mean, I got tears in my eyes just thinking about it. It's the biggest gift we can give ourselves.
It
You know,
is.
that's the hope that we're talking about. It's just allowing ourselves to come back to ourselves as we are. And if that's in the moment of um, just coming in and breathing,
Mhm.
or taking a pen and just kind of writing out whatever you're experiencing, it's acknowledging and allowing some space for versus bringing it in.
So my method is because I truly believe that those inner things that we do go past the conscious mind into the subconscious
Yeah.
mind or unconscious, as you're saying. So I use visualization a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
my
Mm-hmm.
creative way is not painting or drawing, but writing, because I love
Mm-hmm.
to write.
Mm-hmm.
And so would that kind of fall into the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the we do movement work because
Okay.
I think everybody has an energy gets shaken up and moved in different ways. So
Mhm.
some people are terrified of the word paint, even though it's like kids painting paper.
Right.
But we start with movement. Actually, we start with a guided visualization that kind of
Okay.
drops that intention in. And
Mhm.
we can do this, anybody could do this at any time. Like, what is it that you need to just feel about yourself for a minute? What's the
Exactly.
intention, right?
So do you want to do a short, like if let's say you're working with somebody right
Mm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
how would you how would you do that?
Mm. Um,
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, that's great. I was thinking about the theme of hope,
Hmm.
and then I was just trying to articulate a intention. So, how can I bring more hope into my life?
Right.
Or the other end of that is what's stopping me from believing in myself. That one has more of that resonance.
Okay.
How does that
Yes.
feel for you?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Oh, I'm just all teary today.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Oh, well, you're into your, what did you call it? Well, you're into your body and to your authentic self.
Right. I'm,
Yeah.
even in this
In your
conversation,
soul. Hmm.
we're dropping that bravado.
Yeah.
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 So, what is stopping me, for all of you, what is stopping
Hmm.
you from connecting to, what did I say? Your highest self? Your,
Well, you were talking about hope,
yeah. So, what is stopping me from believing in myself?
believing in yourself. Yes.
Right. And so, what I love to do is so we're going to hold space for that, and I should write that down.
I'm writing it down too.
Mhm. All right. Oh, I think this is delicious. Thank you for this opportunity to do this. So,
Absolutely.
first, we're already coming in, like we're moving into this heart space. Your voice is getting softer and deeper, mine's getting a little deeper. Like, that's a way
Hmm.
that we just know that we're coming down. And so, what I like to invite you all to do is just for a minute, soften your eyes, soften the space between your eyes, and bring your awareness to your breath, bring it down to your belly. Yeah. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just bring your breath to
Hmm.
your belly. Feel your butt on the chair,
Hmm.
right? Bring that breath all the way down to your feet. Wiggle your toes.
I
If
have
you
to
want to get out,
my feet first.
if we want to get out of our head, the furthest place from our head is our feet. So,
Okay, now just stop for 1 second. I want to invite everybody listening
mm,
to be doing this along with us.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm closing my eyes. I'm getting into this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sorry to
No, that's
interrupt
perfect. This is just going to be a few minutes. So
you.
if you are driving, I'm going to invite you
Yeah.
to pause, but don't
Right?
close your eyes.
Yes.
But definitely pick this up later. So have a seat, soften the space between your eyes, bring your breath down to your belly, down to your hips, down to your feet. Wiggle your toes. And take a moment and just notice how that changed how you feel in your body, how that shifts.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm so much more relaxed.
Mm-hmm. And
Mhm.
this right here is where you can get more energy. So if you need a little energy pep
Mhm.
and coffee's not quite the thing for you, just doing this will actually give you some energy. Okay.
Good.
I know. So here we are. We're in our body, and you can do this for as long as it feels right. But let's drop that question again. Do a little scan of your body. Just notice what's there. Acknowledge it. Don't push it away. We're just noticing. And ask yourself, what is stopping me from believing fully in myself? And kind of hone in on one body reaction. That may be just a little tightness in your shoulders or a little flutter in your belly, or it could be something completely different. But just acknowledge it. You don't have to figure out why, right?
Mhm. Mine is kind of in my belly,
Mm-hmm.
or the
Mm-hmm.
solar plexus area, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where mine hit too. So this is
Yeah.
juicy. And then,
Oh,
you know,
good.
and so the gift is not to try to figure out what it is,
Mhm.
right? Just say, okay, here I am. And if you can, put your hand on it. And then there's a couple ways that you can do this, and I'll talk them all through you and then talk them all out, and then you all can choose which one resonates with you. So for some people, kind of just allowing your body to move, physically moving your body to acknowledge that sensation. So for us, it's that belly sensation, right?
Mhm.
And maybe that makes it feel different. You're not trying to make it go away, you're just trying to acknowledge it, right?
Mhm.
So that's one way. And then maybe you really like the use of wording and you want to just do some free writing. So it could be something like, when I come in touch with this place in my body, I feel this temperature or see this color or these memories pop out. Don't worry about languaging,
Okay.
grammar, and you just do
Right.
some free writing. And see, these are all different layers that your body is helping you
Okay.
understand.
Got
And
it.
then if you want, which is my faith, because I do believe our soul speaks to us in the language of color and shape and form, is to grab some crayons
Mhm.
or some markers and just really literally put your pen down and just say, in my belly, I feel this.
Mm.
And then maybe your body's like, oh, I really like that red crayon. And you just grab the red crayon. It's
Okay.
like, allow curiosity and wonderment and that excitement of a 4-year-old going, oh, you're listening to me.
Right. Right.
And believe it or not, that is the simplicity of exploring your soulscape. It
Interesting.
really is. But what,
Yeah. And it's fun.
yeah, right. It's fun, it's
Right.
energizing. And the thing that's amazing, it's like you cannot make up these stories. Like
Right.
when you're done the process, you're like, oh, oh, I have an insight. Can I
Yes.
can I share a story that I think is
Absolutely.
pretty potent? So, I'm a trained artist and blah blah blah. I have all these credentials, right? But somehow I was called to an intuitive painting workshop. And in this workshop, it was a week long. And I'm a pretty visceral gal. Like, I really like to feel things. And so
Mm-hmm.
at some point, my painting was on the floor. And all my body kept telling me to do was to put my feet in a tray of paint and walk on the paper.
Mm.
And this is pretty remarkable, but it is really about permission to give yourself the expression that you need. Um, and I did this, and for about 4 days, I literally just walked miles on this painting. And my mind was like, "What are you doing? You're wasting your time." But I was committed to the surrender of what my soul wanted
Mm-hmm.
me to
Good.
know. And literally, in the last few minutes, I had written something that had on a white piece of typewriter paper. Here's my age, right? It was a heart, and in the heart, it said "you," the letter U.
Okay.
And in that surrendered place of following my intuition, I grabbed that and I threw it into the middle of the paper. And all of a sudden, like, I was compelled to stab the U. But it's
Hmm.
it's kids painting paper. I'm not
Sure.
hurting anything.
Right.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
but I was so moved to react to this. And and then I stepped back, and what the word came to me really clearly was shame,
Mm.
was self-hatred, actually, what it was. And
Wow.
I was I think that was one of the things that really compelled me to write the book, to really bring this work out into the world. Because if anybody would have said anything to me, like, tell me about your self-hatred, I would have been like, I don't have any self-hatred. Are you
Right.
kidding?
Exactly. Yeah.
But I kind of allowed that opening and opportunity to just, yeah, I think the question is, what is it that I need to know about myself
Mm-hmm.
so I can live in my fullest expression? That was what I was holding. And it was about clearing out shame,
Okay.
looking at the self hatred I had for myself. So it wasn't in this process me going, I don't like this about myself. It was just this
Right.
very visceral moving of stuck energy in my body.
Exactly. Yeah.
I
that's
mean,
very powerful. Very powerful.
it was it was it was life-changing because
Hmm.
it really gave me the opportunity to go, "Oh, wow, that is all there." And no matter where we are on our spiritual
Hmm.
journey, I do believe that when we follow the guidance of our body and our heart, we only get what we can handle. And so for some of the
Exactly.
people
Yeah. Hmm.
on your call, they may hear about people getting blown away or by some spiritual experience. But I think when we follow the guidance of our heart, we get exactly what we need to experience and
Hmm.
understand.
Exactly.
And that's like, well,
I
anyway,
totally
so
agree with that. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That was, and you mentioned, I want to at least make a mention of your book. We'll go
mm-hmm.
into it a lot because we're running out of time. But so your book is Painting the Landscape of Your Soul. I love that. I love that. And you started out with didn't I read somewhere that you started out with the title?
I was in a meditation. And I
Yeah.
think I was asking one of those light questions like, what do I need to do with my life to be fulfilling? What is my destiny? Probably.
Right. Okay.
Little light question. And I
Right.
literally saw the book drop on my lap.
Wow.
I saw as the book was flipping, I
Mhm.
saw the photographs and the colors, and I saw shamanism, healing arts, embodied creativity.
Wow.
And then I saw the cover. And I'm not a writer. Like, words are not my first language. I really think
Right.
that my first
Right.
language is color, shape, and
Mhm.
soul.
Sure.
And I was like, what? But
Wow.
because I kind of allowed for the possibility or the hope of it, if we will, it's like people came into my life to help me,
Hmm.
to help guide me, help organize me, help write it. And it flowed.
Wow.
It just flowed. I mean, you have to keep attention to it.
Well, of course. But
Um,
yeah.
and
And
so that
you
book
already told
is
yourself you're not a writer, and yet
right,
you
right.
listened to your body and your
Yeah,
soul and wrote the book.
right.
Yeah.
And
So you have one more term that you talk about. You haven't mentioned it so much now, but the term shine on. What does that mean?
yeah, I think Shine On is the way I talk about you being your most authentic self. And the
Okay.
thing is, I believe shine, everybody's like, don't tell me to shine when I feel shitty. I'm like, it's really about being and acknowledging wherever you are in
Yes.
this moment. Because again, I think culturally, we're only supposed to be like this. And that is a huge disservice for us when we are just feeling challenged.
And the great thing is after 50, we're starting to get out of that. It's like we've been in this big fog, for a lot of our lives. And it's like,
Right.
wait a minute, I'm not going to do that anymore.
Hmm.
We start giving our opinions more and all of that kind of stuff, which is really freeing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
that's
it gets
great.
better at 60 too.
Absolutely. Yes, I'm there also.
But I think that's an important thing to bring up. I mean,
Yeah,
age doesn't matter on this journey of self-discovery. I mean,
no.
it's just the more you can acknowledge yourself and just be present with yourself, I mean,
Hmm. Yeah,
that's
no, age
life-changing.
doesn't matter. I
Yeah.
brought that up because it's like we hit this age and we're kind of like,
Right.
I've been living by the rules. I've been doing everything for other people. And now
Right.
it's like, it's my time now,
Hmm.
and I want to start living my life in the
Right.
way that I want to live it
Right.
instead of everybody else's rules. So,
Hmm.
so Damini, I know that you have a free gift for our listeners. So would you talk about that?
Yeah. So there's two things as the free gifties. One is a chapter from Painting the Landscape of Your Soul, and
Oh,
it's
good.
connecting with your spirit self, if you will. And
Okay.
the other one is it's a booklet on how to connect to your heart's yes. And so
Thanks.
it's about 10 pages. It's got a meditation in there, but it is on some level what I took you all through in the beginning.
Mhm.
It's just allowing you the opportunity to come back into your most beautiful, precious self
Wonderful.
and learn to trust your intuition, because really that's how we can guide ourselves through our
Exactly.
truth.
Yeah. Thank you. And for the listeners, all you need to do is just click on the button below this video and it'll take you right to Damini's free gift. Damini, thank you so much. I really learned a lot and in a different way than I'm used to learning too. So I really appreciate that. And I'm sure our listeners learned a lot from you as well.
Yeah.
And for the listeners, be sure to watch your email for our next expert who will be sharing her perspective and her experience on how to keep hope alive during the pandemic. So thank you all. Bye for now.